Hi, Vincent.
Hello.
We're live.
Where are
How are
we
you?
streaming on?
Um, Only my tertiary channel, I'm afraid, because I've got two strikes on my primary and secondary channel. Sorry to disappoint. So I've only got 49 subscribers.
I I am on shadow ban. I cannot believe this. So what's happening now is when I make a video, it doesn't show up on my channel. It says I only have one video on my channel and you can't find my other videos unless you go on the search bar and you type in the exact name of the video and then it'll
Oh,
pop up. But why?
what?
I mean, what? Okay, why are they doing that? What? I didn't promote anything illegal. The only problem that I would have had was people using bad words on my stream.
Yeah, maybe, promoting incest is something that they think inappropriate. I don't know.
Yeah. Can you give me 1 second?
Sure.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Hold on 1 second. Just wait. Just entertain people while I take this. Hello. Good. I'm going into your room to get coffee. Okay. What? What? Yeah. And I'm not going to drive or anything like that. No, I'm going to go fruit shopping probably at 3:30, or like just right after 3 at 3:12 or 3. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I need berries. Yes. Okay. All right. Bye. Sorry about that. You didn't entertain people while.
Well, they wouldn't even post anything, so I don't even want to talk to them. I mean, if they
What?
said something, I would have responded, but they couldn't even be bothered to say anything. So I just thought I'd let them hang.
There's
Anyway,
people.
we've got 4 people watching now, even with your entertaining phone call.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I thought that was quite entertaining, working out who was talking to you, and that was your husband, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I could tell.
Yes. It was my husband, and we were talking about pot and not driving and stuff like that.
And what you're gonna eat for later?
Yes, I need to go fruit shopping for berries because I eat berries for um lunch. Usually they're easier to transport, like they're in a little box, and they're convenient, so I oftentimes bring them to work with me.
Hmm.
I oftentimes bring them to work with me.
They
Echo.
got a place to put your fruit.
Huh?
What you think you might have to go to work after shopping, and you need to put your groceries somewhere? Is that what you're saying?
No, no. No. I'm going to go fruit. No. I'm going fruit shopping. Then I'm bringing the fruit back. Then I'm going to work.
Ah,
Can you hear me right now?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm really upset with this shadow ban.
Maybe if you started a new account under a different name, you might escape it.
I think they would just shadow ban me again.
Would they? Even if you called yourself something else?
Huh? What?
Even if you called yourself something else?
Maybe. But what if somebody just saw me making the content? I don't know if someone reported me or whatever.
Yeah, I wish YouTube were more transparent so you can say, look, what did I do wrong? Tell me so I won't do it again or whatever.
Well, I think, because it happened to me, I don't know if it's with every offensive post, but Facebook had this thing the other day. I wrote something that it accused me of being offensive of, and I had the option to remove it.
Uh-huh.
You
And
have
did
the option.
you?
Yes, I did.
Which was it?
You want to know what it said?
Yeah. Was I in
Well,
it?
I was directing. Okay, so I have this plan where I basically make fun of Christians and push them, and I'm like, you're idol worshippers, and once the Noahide laws are here, you're going to be beheaded. So, I left her a message, and I got the strike.
Oh dear, threatening violence.
Not from me.
Oh,
I
you
wasn't
just
threatened.
okay. So you're saying, well, who's going to behead them?
The Noahites, the Muslims.
Right. I guess the Noahides might have reported you
I don't know.
for exposing their dastardly plan.
They're so. Oh, the Noahides are vicious people. They're so vicious. They don't have that Christian love complex. They're not trying to be all lovey-dovey. You know what I mean? They don't need to be all lovey-dovey. Like, I was kind of shocked when John Gishla's friend, James the Idol Smasher, started cursing me out and making fun of me for being gay, or, seemingly making fun of me for being gay on his channel. Because, well, I guess it's not that serious of a channel. But I think they try to be religious on there. I think they try at least not to speak like that, but they do speak like that. And they're often their hatred for Christianity is so deep, and they're very vicious people.
Oh, right. So they do want to execute idolaters and blasphemers and sodomites and adulterers. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they at least think about it a little bit more, or think that they should be punished, at least, unlike Christians who, whatever you're doing, God judges you. So you can be an adulterer, a homosexual, a blasphemer, an idolater, and, there's no consequences for it, but there's consequences for it in Noahide. So they chose Noahidism, so they want consequences.
Right. And they're quite vocal about these things, yes, or not. I mean, I haven't really heard them. Oh, I don't know. I guess I've heard them through you, but
Well,
I don't tend to take them seriously.
their local their hatred for Christianity is vocal. They don't necessarily say out loud they want Christians to be punished, but they're quite vocal of their disdain for Christians.
Do you want to play a video of them being vocal about their disdain and maybe plotting all kinds of capital punishments for them? Have you ever come
Well, they didn't
across
say
them?
capital punishments in these videos. They were just, it was theological arguments, but they got nasty. You know, they
Let's
got,
hear a few. Let's hear a few.
oh,
Or one, or just one.
let me see if I can find one that's not long.
Okay. So I guess if you stay off, you know, what you could do is just go on about idolatry and blasphemy, and forget all of you know, all the, you know, um, producing the next generation through non-traditional methods.
Well, I think I got thrown out for the Noahide stuff.
No, no,
Okay,
okay.
wait. Let's see. Well, let's see if I found something. No, that's two. Oh, do I have 3 hours? I have 3 hours. I don't know if you just want to stream this for 3 hours, but this is Noahide Nexus ending the Christian fallacy.
All right, we are live. Welcome to
I don't know how nasty they'll get in this video, but there's other writings. Like there was this Noahide who said that they wanted to see the topple of all religions, especially Christianity. And, you know, they go on about how Christianity is idolatry. Echo, turn off the fan.
Okay, I don't mind. I don't mind having it on. But this is just an idea, you know, for your streaming career. I don't think you should just go to these extremities of what is acceptable. So I suggest you just stay mainstream, Vincent, and you can say just concentrate on idolatry and blasphemy and say you can't see anything wrong with it, and just concentrate on those two subjects.
No, I don't wanna be muzzled like that.
Well, okay, I'm just saying, you know, just do those two, and then maybe you can branch out a bit later, because I don't think anybody has had a proper discussion about it. The Jews have been really terrible about, you know, warning Gentiles against idolatry. They've been just completely useless. You know, maybe that's why they're being punished, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they haven't really.
I mean, can you think of any reason that they've given to, you know, to say about forbidding idolatry other than God might be angry if he exists? I mean, they haven't, they've been so bad.
Yeah, they didn't really. Well, they're picking it up now. That is changing. They're starting to do it, but they're still, you know, I like Judas Fly because Judas Fly is not sneaky like these rabbis are. They're scared. I mean, okay, that book, he wasn't a rabbi though. I mean, he just came out. It was a Jewish guy in his book, Noahide book. You know, he just came out and said Christianity is idolatry and blasphemy. But
Oh, is he the one who drew this cartoon of
yes,
Christians? Yeah.
yes, he was. Yes, he was. You want to? I could put that up on screen.
Yes.
Hold on.
But honestly, you know, you don't need to go to it. You really don't need to push the boundaries that hard, because actually you can expose these Jews for saying you haven't done a good job about warning us against idolatry and blasphemy. Have you? And I mean, they can't say, "Ooh, you know, this rabbi and that rabbi have been telling you for centuries not to be idolaters and blasphemers." I mean, actually, they're just as vulnerable as Christians. You know, they have no answer. They can't say, "Oh, you know, we've been doing our job. You just haven't been listening." They haven't been.
There, you see that?
Okay, I'm going to share screen. What am I doing?
Oh, wait. Oh, what am I? Okay, no, I added my
Okay,
screen.
okay, maybe I made. Okay, this is what I do. That's what I meant to do. Okay, and if I do this, it'll get bigger. Yes.
Mhm. And he was sneaky about it. This is like the Noahide was a little less sneaky about it, but it was about the beheadings. So they always do this where they come out, the Jews come out with the most salacious, outrageous, extremely offensive statement. And then they said, well, it was just dialogue and discussion, and it's not real. But
Yes. It was
what?
just for discussion,
Yes,
hypothetical,
yes.
speculative. Yes,
Well,
yes.
he said you would have no. He, well, he did seem, in my opinion, to try to confuse you, in that he was like he put down Maimonides that those who break the seven Noahide laws are worthy of death. So then he comes up with this. It's a common diversion that Noahides and Jews use, and they say, well, are you to be beheaded in every instance? And that every instance kind of makes you think that there are no beheadings, but so he said only every instance would only be um, applicable inside Israel in the Messianic age. But then he went on to say, then he did go on to explain that the Noahide laws are meant for the Gentiles, and they're meant for to be implemented now, including punishment. And he just said that death by beheading is an option, but it's not mandatory.
Mm. I suppose they need to be, well, reasonably non-specific about it, because I mean, I guess the implication is that some sort of penalty will be required, or
Yeah, well, they want some kind of penalty. I mean, everything that I've read from the Noahides and Jews that are honest, they want some kind of penalty. And I think that these rabbis are being, well, the Noahide said, well, the rabbis don't, he specifically said the rabbis don't want to talk about setting up courts of justice because they don't want to rile up the Gentiles.
yeah.
I mean, the Noahides specifically said this about the rabbis.
They said what again? What did you?
That
The no.
the rabbis don't want to set up the courts of justice because they don't want to rile up the Gentiles.
Okay, the rabbis actually said that. Right,
Well,
right. I
the
mean,
Noahides said that that's what the rabbis are doing.
well, it makes sense. I mean, I guess, okay, I'm having enough trouble just getting my secular Quranism, talked about. So obviously they're just sort of running around saying, oh, she's going to behead us, or, you know, shaking a stick or whatever.
No. I mean, the thing, these rabbis are right, but the Noahides want to set up the courts, and then you find Jews that do say. He specifically said in that book, The Rainbow Covenant by Michael Dallin, he specifically said that punishment is included prior to the Messianic age in all ages. I think that that is what the rabbis, well, that's what the rabbis believe, but they are scared to promote that.
Yeah, they were having problems even when they were Israelites, right? Because I keep going on about Nidakat. Have you looked it up?
No, what is that?
It's spelled IR, one word, and then
Wait, hold on. One
NIDACA,
IR. Hold on. IR.
one word, and then NIDACAT. CHAT.
Wait, IRNIDACACH.
CHAT. Nidakat.
Is a biblical law. It refers to an Israelite city, a majority of whose citizens become idolaters. The laws of the Irtnik are outlined in Deuteronomy. Okay. Okay, I
So
see.
basically, it's death for you if you're an Israelite and you become a citizen of a city that has gone astray in Israel.
It's the death penalty.
Beheading.
Okay, that okay, so on Hasidic University is the most extreme version of Noahidism, and I know that most rabbis are not expecting Gentiles to follow all 613 of the Messian the Mosaic
Well,
code.
it's for Jews anyway, and Jews can't follow them because the temple isn't built,
Well,
and
right,
therefore it's impossible for them to obey all of them.
but he says that nations that do not set up courts of justice are warred upon.
Well, yes, because imagine if you didn't have a court or legal system, and everything had to be sort of taken to you know the king or his officials to decide, and there would be you would be subject to arbitrary justice. There wouldn't be any precedent. There wouldn't be any you know laws written down anywhere. It would just be dependent on the person deciding, and so it would be a terrible state of affairs, and everybody would be just well they
No,
would want to live under that sort of system,
according
which
to
would be very primitive.
according to this guy that AskNoah.org says is mentally ill, and also said that they wish that they like when he has all 613 commands and asking Gentiles to follow it, they said, I wish. That's what they said. Like
Who said I wish?
the rabbi that wrote the letter about you.
Oh, Michael Schulman.
Yeah,
Is it
yes, he told me that the guy who runs Hasidic University is mentally ill, which everybody says that if they disagree with someone, and that he wishes Gentiles would follow this. But I think he didn't explain that. But what I extrapolated from that means like the Gentiles will never ever accomplish that. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just
yeah,
not in them to do such a thing
yeah,
because they,
yeah,
they just
right.
don't care about these things. They just don't, you know,
Yeah,
it's that
no,
kind of thing.
that's what he said. But there's no sense, according to Hasidic University, there's no sense of my law for me and your law for you, because non-Noahide societies are not allowed to exist. And they always give the example, they give these examples, and sometimes it seems like they pull this shit out of their ass, these rabbis, where they just say, oh, because this scripture says this, and it seems so stupid. But do you remember when Dinah in the Bible got raped by the king of, I think it was called Shushem?
I don't know the story. Please tell us.
Hold on, 1 second. Let me get the name of I'm looking for the name of the hold on, I'm looking for the name of the Shechem. Oh, that was his name. I thought that was the name of the city. So Dinah was the daughter of Jacob. Yeah, she was the seventh child of Leah and Jacob. So, she was in the land. This is when Jacob and his family were in the land of Canaan, and he warned his daughter not to hang out with the Canaanite girls, which she did it anyway. And one of the men of the Canaanites took a fancy to her, and you know it's mixed whether it was rape. Sometimes she went willingly, she liked it, or whatever, and he slept with her. And so then Jacob wanted revenge. So he said if the men of the city wanted to join him, they would have to get circumcised. So all the men in the city circumcised themselves, and while they were in pain and unable to fight, Jacob and his family entered the city and killed them all. So they say, I don't know what one has to do with the other, but they say that's an example of a city that didn't practice the Noahide laws. And so if a city is not engaged in Noahide law, you need to wipe them out.
Right. So it's like a kind of honor killing thing.
Yeah.
This Gentile had sex with this Dinah, and
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Did you ever read the Bible?
I have a Bible stories for children. I read that.
Yeah, I learned that from Bible stories.
But I don't know this one that you're talking. I mean, Wikipedia is quite good about summaries and stuff for
Yeah.
all the
I
Bible
love
stories.
Wikipedia.
Me too. It's been so useful.
Yeah, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. That same book that image of beheading people came from, I've been doing a book review on it, and I've gotten up to, a certain depth in there that, but it's certainly not halfway. But I've just been not doing it. And I should be doing it because I want to review a lot of these Noahide books. And this book is famous for this picture. There's followers of yaw.com or .org or whatever, and they highlighted this. The reason I got the book is that I didn't believe that this had anything. I didn't believe that they put this in the book. And
Mhm.
I was like, they must be misinterpreting it. There's just no way. So I got the book and I opened it up, and indeed it was. And they were talking about Noahide beheadings and how they are applicable in the modern age. And so I think that that's a little bit shocking. Um,
Mhm.
I think I think that Jews have a problem with not being self-conscious, no self-awareness, and not understanding how they come off to people. Like, there's this book about the Noahide laws that's very famous, which I have not read. That really controversial Rabbi Ginsburg? Let me look what his name is again. Um, Give me 1 second. Hold on, let's see if I can get his name. Yitzhak Ginsburg. He's very famous
Mhm.
because he made a statement. He said that he thinks it is halakhically legal if a Jew needs a liver transplant. It is halakha that you can tear a liver out of an unwilling Gentile to save the life of a Jew. So he was really um, crazy like
Mhm.
that. So, which some of these rabbis are. I mean, some of these rabbis are absolutely insane. Let me just double check to make sure he wrote Kabbalah and Meditation for the Nations. Yitzhak Ginsburg. Yeah. So Adam Green has taken quotes out of here. I can't remember them. And you don't know Israeli News Live, right? The
Not really.
Yeah. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a couple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a couple. So I mean, supposedly it is so lacking in self-awareness and so arrogant and so insane. It's about Noahide laws for the nations, that it's very famous. But Dr. Michael Brown poo-poos it because he says, oh, well, Ginsburg is considered a radical rabbi and he doesn't count and stuff like that. But this is what's going on in the extremities of the movement. So I know it's the extremities, but still the extremities do reflect upon a movement, just like the extremities of Islam reflect on Islam.
Hmm.
And so, you know, when people tell me that these Noahide laws are harmless, well, look what the extreme people are saying.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be applied overnight, and there will be, a lot of controversy. People are not just going to, go from, intersectionality to beheading idolaters and blasphemers.
Oh well,
You know, the,
I don't expect you know, feminists necessarily to be implementing this. I would expect Christians and Muslims and Catholics and Freemasons and, other kinds of people. Is that my thought is that things are going to become so liberal and Christians are going to get tired of not attacking and waiting for Christ. And this is going to come along and it's going to sound really good to them and it'll get rid of idolatry, blasphemy, and homosexuality. So they'll accept it. And then Islam will be in league with it. So, you know what I mean? That's where I think the problem is going to come from mass Christian conversion.
uh-huh. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's obviously not not round the corner, is it?
No, no. I mean, I tell people that it's not around the corner, but I always tell people in the next 50 years, I think it'll be a major world religion.
Well, I think Islam is going to take over, and Islam doesn't propose these capital punishments for idolaters and blasphemers. And for this reason, I think that's going to be the one that's adopted rather than these no hide laws.
Well, but you don't understand. I believe that it'll go to such extremes that people will go to extremes. And I think that everyone is going to get the message that if you tolerate idolaters, blasphemers, and homosexuals, they will take over your society.
Yeah, but you can't just propose to execute idolaters when there's so many of them around, and not just in the Far East, but in the West. With all these churches and these
Well,
cathedrals.
I don't think they're going to start out with beheadings. I think they may, let's just say a Noahide government got voted in. Um, I think it would depend on how powerful they were, and what area, how far that they had gone. But I don't even know if in the beginning they would necessarily punish idolaters at all. But once it grew big enough, yes, I think it would, and
Hmm.
I think that so many people that there is going on, like, this by the white nationalists, and they're starting to a little bit, not fully, but a little bit ally with Islam because Islam is a traditionalist culture.
Yes.
Um,
Because I think that they're slowly beginning to realize that the only way to fight feminism is, is with God.
but the only reason that they're attracted to Islam is because you say there's freedom of religion and there's no blasphemy laws, but you know what? A lot of Muslims don't know that. I mean, a lot of Muslims uh look what Muslims do to idolaters and blasphemers. I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's a disconnect between what you believe and what the common Muslim believes. So that's why they're attracted to it. But this is Islam in hyperdrive. This is like you call Islam Judaism light. This is like Noahide is like Islam plus. You know what I mean? It's like it's the next generation 2.0.
Because of the harshness of the punishments.
Yeah, it's Islam 2.0.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that most Westerners would prefer not to um,
Right now, but
have. Okay, well, we'll be dead and gone by the time they go completely crazy and start executing idolaters, blasphemers, adulterers, and sodomites.
okay, we'll see. We'll see how things go. But
Mhm.
I do think, I mean, nobody wants. I mean, okay, nobody in like these white right circles. Well, not nobody. That's not true. Wants you on their stream. And okay, wait. I would like it if you would, it would be great if just like Hasidic University, where each one of the laws is delineated out and with the scripture that defends it, it would be great if you did the same thing with secular Quranism, where you just delineated out all the laws that are from the Quran and their passages, and then people would know it's secular Quranism because what I notice is that a lot of people don't have a very deep understanding of secular Quranism, nor a very broad understanding of secular Quranism. I think that they basically just consider secular Quranism Islam, and um, and they don't want it. But I view secular Quranism through the lens of Noahide. So secular Quranism is very simple to me and very, I'm like, well, does it meet the Noahide code? No. Where does it fall? So, it's going to promote no murder, no theft, do not abuse animals, courts of justice, but it's not going to enforce much on idolatry, blasphemy, and a little bit on homosexuality. But it would also help, I think it would help if you explained it in light of the Noahide laws and say that it's the Noahide laws minus idolatry and blasphemy. But it would also help if you had something like Hasidic University where it was just all delineated out, because you said you weren't going to allow interest.
Yeah, and that I think the abolition of usury would be the selling point for most Gentiles who are over their heads in debt, and also for governments.
Okay, so what other things come from the Quran? But you're very selective, as I said. First of all, it's commanded in the Quran not to marry a polytheist, but you said you're going to not take that in consideration. You're not to, I think, if I remember correctly, that you're not allowed to eat meat sacrificed to an idol, but you said you wouldn't enforce that. So, it's just it's not fully Quranism because you're not sticking.
Which verses are you talking about? Because I need to have a look at them.
Hold
And,
on.
and
Hold on, let me try to find them.
because there's no point talking to people who haven't read the Quran and never will, because they're so full of hatred that they can't imagine themselves doing this sort of thing. or if they're so afraid of being seen to be reading it because everybody around them is so Islamophobic, then I know I won't be able to get it, any sensible to get a sensible discussion from people like that. I mean, the only people who I could get a reasonable discussion are people who are prepared to read it, and maybe people with, some legal understanding.
Okay. I'm putting these in the private chat. So here's the one that you can't eat food sacrificed to idols. Hold on. Let me post that in the comments. Oh, why can't I post in comments?
You can as well.
I can. It won't let me.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll have to post using the YouTube window, I guess.
Here, and this one says don't marry polytheists.
Okay, so this one says this is chapter 2, verse 173. It says, "He has forbidden to you dead animals, blood, the flesh of swine, and that which has been dedicated to other than Allah. But whoever is forced by necessity, neither desiring it nor transgressing its limit, there is no sin upon him. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful." But this only applies to Muslims. So I'm not, I have to assume that not everyone is Muslim. So these prohibitions would only apply to Muslims, and even if Muslims break these things, it's between them and God
But you won't enforce
eating
it.
non-halal food. I'm not
Okay,
going to enforce that.
you won't enforce it.
No, because I'm not going to put people in jail who aren't Muslim, who don't, who are not
Wait, but you
expected to
said
eat
you would
halal.
put.
And as for Muslims who do it, it's their problem with God, who will punish them later if He exists. So it's
Okay, but
not my
it's also
problem.
commanded. I sent you the second. I sent you the
Okay,
second, and where you're commanded not to marry a polytheist.
okay, I'm going to read that. That's chapter 2, verse 221. "And do not marry polytheistic women until they believe. And a believing slave woman is better than a polytheist, even though she might please you. And do not marry polytheistic men to your women until they believe, and to a believing and a believing slave is better than a polytheist, even though he might please you. Those invite you to the fire, but Allah invites into paradise and to forgiveness by His permission. He makes clear His verses to the people that perhaps they may remember."
Okay,
Okay,
but I mean,
I'm not going to forbid that because it's freedom of association. So, if their marriages go wrong, it's like, well, it's too bad, you're going to be punished for it. Through your marriages going wrong, and maybe God will punish you later. But obviously, if you took your religion seriously as a Muslim, then you're not going to be marrying anybody who ain't Muslim. You'll have to say, you can only marry me if you convert to Islam. So
okay,
that's their
well, but
problem sorted.
it is a law in the Quran, so you're not going to you're not going you're gonna you're gonna you're gonna enforce other laws, but just
Mhm.
not every law.
No, and I'll say these laws that are advisory for Muslims, I'm not going to enforce because, you know, it's their problem basically. I mean, there are some verses that are purely advisory, and some like you have to punish, right?
Wait, okay, wait. You have on your blog um a list of the no of not the of your laws?
Yes, I did. I probably won't be able to find it. That was a long time ago, but I did have something.
Okay.
There was kind of like a manifesto.
Yes, I think that so I wouldn't mind. Well, how many laws do you think there is that are in secular Quranism that come from the Quran?
I actually haven't listed it. I've never made a list of them.
A
Um,
guesstimate.
Maybe under 50, I would say. off the
Okay.
top of my head. I mean, basically, I'm not going to just go through the Quran, chapter by chapter until I get somebody who's legally trained and, is going to and has read the Quran and say, I don't like, anyway, I haven't done it to that
Well, I
detail.
think we should do it together because
Okay.
I think that you have to simplify it, and not just you have to simplify it, but also make it more detailed at the same time. And I think that so what do we have to do? Read the whole Quran together to
I'm
find.
afraid that, yes, and nobody will do it, which is why I haven't really, bothered. Um, because what I want is I'm basically saying this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm basically waiting for the response saying no because I hate this and this is but I can't even get anyone to who has
Wait,
read
I
it.
sent you list of laws in the I remember I sent you this. You were very excited that I found this. Okay, what is
What
this? Sharia laws of the Holy Quran. Let's just see something. Let's just see if we can find a list.
okay? I don't remember you. I don't remember us talking about it.
Hold on. Okay, let's part one, the real Sharia.
Is it a video?
No. I'm just trying to see what this obligations towards the society pilgrimage, but you're not going to do any of this. Okay, well, it doesn't look like there's a whole long list here. So, hold on. Let me see if it's in. Let me see. Oh, I am in. Hold on. Yes, I remember. I remember it. And I would even print this out because you were very excited that I found it because it was a total list.
Hmm. I'm afraid I have no memory of that now.
I'm looking for it. Wait, this is not going. Where is it? Let's just see something. I must have saved it because it was so interesting. And I forget how many pages it was, but it would really help us organize. Um, is that? Is this serious? I have no folder on Islam. Hold on, let me just keep looking for it. I know I sent it to you.
I have no memory of this, I'm afraid. Did you just dream it all?
No, no, no. It was absolutely stunning how somebody had listed out. Where is it? It listed it all out. Hold on, it was a PDF. I'm just looking for it. Hold on. That's just my computer is still searching.
Okay.
And no, we were both very excited to have it. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, I don't think that's going. Okay, let's try this. Let's try Quran. Wait, let me also try to. You asked me to send it to you. Let me see if I sent it to you on my other account. I might have.
Well,
The PDF of all the laws in the
okay,
Quran.
I don't remember any of that.
I do. No, that's not it. Okay.
Perhaps you dreamt it.
No, I know I didn't. That's just. Wait, it's still thinking. Anyway, maybe I'll find again. Just a list of laws in the Quran PDF. It was a. I think I found it. Hold on.
Wow.
Yes, hold on. I'm 90% sure this is the document that we found. Oh, it's 125 pages. I can't print all that. I'm sending it to you.
Thank you.
So we can just. Wait, why aren't you showing up in my. You're not showing up in my email list. What's your
How
email?
shocking.
What's your
Well,
email?
I think I do have your email, but I don't remember.
Just another Hindu at
Yes.
Gmail. Can you email me right now so I can find you because I can't find you?
All right.
Okay, let me download this so that I have it because this is very important.
Okay, I've just sent you an email.
Okay, hold on. I'm just saving this because I can't believe that I lost that. Okay, now it's not letting me make a new folder. Anyway, okay, let me just put this on my desktop for right now. Anyway.
I haven't received an email from you for. Okay. The last one I received from you seems to have been in 2020.
Oh my gosh, that's a while. So, let's say the inbox. Oh, Andromeda. Okay. I'm sending it to you. Okay, I've sent it to you.
Okay.
So let me just look at it for a second. Again, I'm 95% sure this is what we were talking about. Okay, let's just see something. Chapter 1, State Affairs, Government Agencies, Instructions for Government Employees, Justice, Injunctions, Inheritance and Testament, Sexual Relations and Crimes, Protection of Life, Protection of Property, Treaty Obligations, the prohibited food, unlawful and permitted lawful. Okay, yeah, this looks like it's all of them. Hold on one second, because I want to ask my husband if I can print this. Because I'm serious about going through secular Quranism. If you just give me a second, I want to call him. Do you have it?
Yeah, I've just received the PDF, 1 MB.
Hold on. Are you looking at it now?
I'm opening it. My computer's being so slow. It's thinking about it.
Chama, am I allowed to print a document that's 125 pages? No. Okay. 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 Okay, thank you. Thanks. Love you. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna print this out tonight, but it has the verses. Has it opened?
I'm just about to open it. I mean, it is opening.
Because I think what we should do is go through these laws. If you take this and if it lists out all the laws of the Quran and you basically say which ones will be applied, some of these look like don't gossip, don't bully people.
Yeah, advisory rather than, mandatory, I
Yeah.
think.
Actually, this is the way I would want to learn Islam. It's interesting that you say all the stories and things don't work, and I don't care about the stories in Judaism. Like, I mean, well, I do in that I think they reflect on the Jews. So I do think they're important, but me personally, I'm not interested in them. So, and that's not how I want to learn Judaism. I would learn Judaism through the 613 laws. You know what I mean? More so. And so this is the way I would want to learn the Quran, but I'll help you do this because I think that um I think that um people might not have a response to it. Yeah, they might not have a response to it. And I think that would flush out why don't people have a response to it. And your whole thing is what do you dislike about it, and nobody can answer what I dislike about it.
Because
So
they can't read it, well, because they haven't read it and refuse to. So that's where I always get stuck.
okay, well, I have only read part of the Quran, but I think if we're going to focus on secular Quranism, then it doesn't matter, because if it's not legal, it's probably just it's probably just God and Muhammad and palm trees and things like that, which I'm not interested in learning about.
Right.
So this would be a quick way You know, you could even write a little pamphlet or a PDF or have it on your blog. So
Yes,
it's
yeah,
137 pages.
yes. But if I put the link there, then people can go to the blog and you know download it from there, I guess. That would be the best way for them to read it. But basically, okay, I think the best way would still be to read the whole of the Quran and then just sort of go through it and think, oh, I just really hate this. You know, I really hate this. Rather than read this through. Okay, I mean, whatever way you want, really. If you think it's shorter than reading the whole of the Quran, I know. Yeah.
Yes, I don't have time to read the whole Quran. I'm sorry. I just don't. I tried and I just couldn't get through it because there was a
Hmm.
lot of say this and this and this and that. Say
Hmm.
this and this and this and that. Like, it was too much for me. And
Hmm.
and I'd rather learn it this way, and I think this is a much better way to learn it, and I think this is how you should spread secular Quranism.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I'll do that. And is there anything you want to talk about from this document that you have just sent
Well,
to
I
me?
mean, okay, we can start looking at it a little. I think this should be a second. I think that we should start out a stream one day where we actually dedicate time to this, and every time that we stream, we could add more to it. Because
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
I think that it's important that people. I think it's important that there's nothing else being discussed. It's just secular Quranism, part one, part two. Let me just look. I want to look at some things in here. We can talk about it a little bit.
Hmm.
Second Urdu edition. Okay, we don't want that. Preface to English. State affairs, sovereignty. The difference between an Islamic state and a secular state is that in an Islamic state, affairs are conducted within limits laid down by the Quran. Nobody has the right to transgress these limits. In other words, the right to rule belongs to Allah alone. It is said in Surah Yusuf 12:40. Remember, the command is for none but Allah. Okay. Okay, that's not. Nor does he share his commandment with anyone whatsoever. Okay, let's try to go something. Okay, code of laws in an Islamic state. The code of an Islamic constitution in the book of Allah, the Quran. Wait, the code of an Islamic constitution is the book of Allah, the Quran. As stated above, those who do not establish a rule according to the book of Allah are infidels. Subservient to any rule is not right. Surah. I'm looking for something that's like an actual, like, not. Okay, the entire Ummah shall take part in the government. The duty of Islamic rule is to enforce what is lawful according to divine law and prohibit what is unlawful. Okay, yeah, to enforce what is lawful according to divine law and prohibit what is unlawful. So, okay, so so there's one. I mean, if you're going to use this and then you're not going to prohibit marriage with polytheists, I mean, that's a little contradictory.
Well, no, because there's some that like, oh, don't backbite. It's like, okay, don't gossip, but there is no penalty for gossip unless it's actually slander or libel. So there are some things that are just advisory because no penalty will ensue unless you believe in the afterlife, and the Quran acknowledges that not everybody believes in the afterlife, and they'll just have to wait until they're dead to be punished. It's that sort of thing. I'm not going to enforce every single prohibition, because it's obviously impractical. And also, I know a lot of people will have different interpretations about the Quran than me, and I'm saying, you'll just like mine better for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm saying the fact that I'm not Muslim will make my interpretation more favorable, more practical for non-Muslim Westerners than just getting a proper bearded Muslim who ticks all the boxes for being Muslim and a scholar, and you'll hate his interpretation because it'll be so strict. And then he'll just rope in all his associates to interpret it in his way, without taking into account the local practices of the country that it's supposed to be adopted. So I'm saying that my interpretation is not going to be some cherry picking one that it's only what I like, and I will, to the best of my ability, interpret it as I think it was meant to be interpreted. But I also know there will be people who say, oh, she's not even Muslim and whatever. And I know that every interpretation will have to be fought for, because there will be people who don't want it at all, or people who don't think I've got it quite right because they're more Muslim than me, or whatever.
Echo, turn on the fan. Well,
And I'd be quite happy selling it to you, Vincent, because I said in my last stream to you that if you care about the continuation of Western civilization, you should actually want what I propose, so that white people in the West will be healthier and happier in future generations, and this sort of terrible mess that they are now.
give me 1 second.
Okay. I mean, there will be things like Islamic inheritance laws, and then people are going to ask me how am I going to enforce it, and I've said for people who are not Muslim, they can do it under the current rules, and for those who are Muslim, they can dispose of their property according to Islamic principles of inheritance. But if you're non-Muslim and you die intestate, then it will be distributed according to the fallback default terms of intestacy, which would be Islamic. So that these are little details that probably most people won't care about, but which I have to decide to sell my interpretation as a package to British people, at least, or English speaking peoples. But obviously, the Irish, the Germans, they'll have their own ideas, and all I care about is that the idea should be entertained seriously, and then once it's agreed, the details will be thrashed out.
Echo, turn off the fan. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this. Okay, this is what I think. Okay, what I like about Hasidic University is what you can do with it is you can take all the stuff that applies to the temple and sacrifices and all those religious laws and remove them, and just stick with the ones that are generally for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you would get a Noahide manifesto. So you would put that together, It describes, okay, so obviously not every offense is the death penalty. So you're not allowed to make an idol for someone else, but it's not the death penalty. The penalty comes from heaven. So
You'll be punished in the afterlife.
you're punished in the afterlife. So you could just remove that. You know what I mean? The only thing is if you actually bow down and worship the idol.
You see, in the end, you will have to allow them to worship idols because, you know, Sam's here. Because there's so many more of them. I mean, the Christians will go ape if you want, if you talk about smashing their idols. And even the ones who were never Christian will start going ape, because so you would have to, you just hope that, eventually they'll get it and not care anymore. But,
I have good
just
news.
be.
Sorry to interrupt and be so abrupt. I got good news, and I wanted to share it with you. The Georgia Guidestones, the Globalist Manifesto in granite in Georgia, outside of Atlanta, north of Atlanta. We're all familiar with it from 1981. It was erected in 1981 anonymously by some fake name. It was. Some people assume it's different globalists that had that thing erected as a monument on private property, and it has a constant 24/7 surveillance on it. But someone managed to partially blow that shit up. They blew up those columns. You're familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
Yes.
Yes, I have heard of them. Mm-hmm.
Someone was courageous enough to finally blow part of those damn columns up. I'll share the report from a guy in Kentucky. He's an alternative media personality. Dabu7 from Kentucky. You're familiar with him? I think he's from Louisville. Or now he's in the rural mountains of Kentucky over there in the Appalachian. It's not the Appalachian. What's the mountain range? Is it the Appalachians in Kentucky? It is. I think it's the Appalachians.
Or it's close to that. The Appalachians, I think, what is that? The Blue Mountains are in Kentucky or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, he's up in the mountains over there now. He's a full-fledged 100% prepper to the point where he's got himself off grid completely, and he's got his internet, satellite phone internet, or some sort of good enough internet that he can communicate and still upload to his YouTube channel. But someone managed last night to blow up the Georgia Guidestones, and I think that's a good omen, as far as people not having any more patience for this. They're not going to stand by and just let themselves be totally raped and abused and exploited, them and their children and their families. And those Georgia Guidestones are an eyesore as far as for all Americans that are aware, and all people around the world that are aware that there is a globalist agenda. You know what's written on those Guidestones? That the population should be maintained at 500 million at all times. There should be control of the population. And these stupid pillars were erected in 1981, and they're in a variety of different languages, including Hebrew and Arabic and Sanskrit and Hindi and all these weird languages as well. And I linked to the report in the private chat. Going off a bit on a tangent from what you were talking about, but I think there are things that are that are happening now, aside from changing or shifting religious edicts or centuries-old, millennia-old habits and behaviors, which we find distasteful as far as idolatry is concerned. The Georgia Guidestones were an in-your-face sort of declaration of war against the human race and against the earth on the part of the globalists, disguised as some sort of benevolent agenda of the so-called elites. and it stood there for now it's how long is that 43 years approximately. So, and the fact that it's been finally damaged or destroyed partially means that people have really had enough. They don't want the symbols of globalism. I'm sure they hate the UN just as much as they hate those granite stones in Georgia, the Georgia Guidestones. They hate the institutions of the globalists, the central banks, and the government institutions, the deep state institutions. Once everything goes tits up soon with the economy, just like you see, people have lost patience and they are now willing to throw themselves into the fire and risk their lives and risk their safety and risk their future in order to decimate and destroy these symbols. And I think it's going to only get more intense once the fucking economy goes tits up in Europe and in America.
Yeah.
Once it's pushing up daisies, it's the dollar, the euro, and the whole entire fucking infrastructure is going to be dead and buried, tits up, pushing daisies, and then you're going to have people blowing fucking institutions to fucking bits with RPGs, with explosives, and it's happened. It's begun. This place was a bit, off the beaten path. It's up in the mountains over there in Georgia as well, in the hills. It's kind of remote. You have to really go out of your way to go find that place and go visit that place. So somewhere in the middle of the night, I think they managed to disable the surveillance cameras, and they packed those fucking columns with explosives, and they blew them to fucking hell. And too bad they didn't manage to blow the whole entire fucking thing to smithereens. But it's going to happen eventually. I mean, that's just one step in the direction that my rabbi warned of. He said, and this is what I failed to tell you, it kind of bothered me from our earlier conversation, Claire. He said that the violence and the shootings in America is intensifying. It's for now not directed at the Jews, but soon it will be directed at the Jews, and the Jews will have no right to complain and say, why, they're shooting at us, they're trying to kill us. They will have no right to complain because they were warned forever. The shootings and the attacks and the violence will be focused on the Jews and the Jewish community in the United States. Because God has lost all patience. That's what my rabbi said. They will have no right to complain either.
I'm working to make sure that doesn't happen, because I am betting on the fact that Jews will only become more popular. Number one, even without my campaign to Noah Hidai's Jewry and make you seem like conservatives, is you have all these Christian Zionists that are working for you here. And I mean, if anything went really wrong, I mean, you would have tons of people that would hide you. And
right. Well, it's not like Nazi Germany where you have Germans or Europeans that had come from mixed marriages and had some affinity or empathy for the Jews because they had Jewish blood flowing through their veins. That's the reason why you had Gentiles helping the Jews during the Holocaust. A lot of them had already came from mixed marriages of mixed blood, and they were part. They felt some sort of empathy or kinsmanship, like they felt like kinsmen.
So wait, you're saying that the German people didn't take in Jews?
They did, but what my rabbi is saying is that these were Germans of many generations past that had intermarried and had Jewish bloodlines that had erased their Jewish bloodlines because
very
they wanted
cynical. That's like
he also said that Donald Trump it took a positive a sort of liking to Jews and Judaism from before he became president for many decades. So did his father. I forget his father's name. And he suggested that also in the bloodline of the Trumps, you probably have Jews. For the most part, he said that, real empathy to want to help and sacrifice oneself for the Jews, just like Schindler did, or other Germans during the Holocaust did. It would not have happened unless they had some sort of Jewish lineage or Jews that had married.
I think that's just a way to. I think that there's very insulting things that Jews say about the Gentiles, and the fact that only Gentiles who had Jewish blood, and it was how we're helping the Jews, and the rest of the Gentiles weren't doing it. I think that's very cynical, and I think that's very.
Well, the church had agendas. They took in Jewish children, but with the ultimate goal of converting them.
No, come on. Oh, please.
Yeah. They were caught.
No. Oh, yeah, right. None of the Germans were good people. You're right. No such thing as a good Gentile.
No, they were, but they had Jewish blood, which
no,
made
not
them
every single one. No, they didn't have Jewish blood. That's insane, Sam.
That's the reason what he said that the Gentiles.
Your rabbi's an idiot. Then
no Gentile would ever want to sacrifice himself or put himself out or risk his life for a Jew unless somewhere in the back of his in his family bloodline there were Jews.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Claire, does that insult you?
It's not my fight.
It's not hers. She's an more of an analyst and a commentator and a critic, and I don't expect her to put her life at risk and put herself out there to help the Jews if she's not Jewish.
Wait, what was your answer, Claire? What are you insulted by that? What was your answer?
No, I said it's not my fight. I will, be neutral about it.
Yeah. Wait. If people were shooting at Jews, you wouldn't hide them in your house?
Well,
it's not her job. No,
I would help them if it didn't obviously endanger me, but I suspect it would be quite dangerous. I might be late.
So you wouldn't.
The church, whenever it helped Jews, if it helped Jews, at the end of the day, after the war, after the Holocaust, where Jewish children were taken in refugee orphan children were given shelter in some monasteries or nunneries or what have you, and religious Jews had found out about it. These were cases that were documented and recorded, and they went to collect the Jewish children from those monasteries, churches, and nunneries, whatever. And the only way they could get them to distinguish between them and the non-Jewish children, because there was a combination. They weren't really, separated, or they couldn't distinguish between the Jewish children and the non-Jewish children. So this is a story that was actually told many times over, and Rabbi Singer told the story that families that were looking for their children, or rabbis that went looking to collect the surviving children from the Holocaust that took shelter in churches and monasteries, the minute they said the Shema and the children understood, they raised their heads, they walked up and went and joined the rabbi. So when they were familiarized with Jewish prayer, they immediately were they were sort of like made awake. They were sort of like right away, sort of like activated. They got up and joined the rabbi and left the monasteries and the churches and the nunneries, whereby they were trying to indoctrinate them into Christianity against their will through whether they were helping or not. The same applied to Ukraine when you had Jewish mothers, not so religious Ukrainian Jews, with their mothers.
You know who also wouldn't take in people is the Jews. They wouldn't
taken people with for what?
If Gentiles were being shot at, the Jews wouldn't take them in.
You didn't hear the story I told about Saddam Hussein?
Right. So you do it, but Gentiles don't do it.
Well, we can't win here. I just told you a story where the Jews helped Saddam Hussein's mother give birth to Saddam Hussein when she was having such difficulty.
Right. I know you're totally good people.
But you made the accusation at first that the Jews would never take anyone in. So what are you trying to do? At first you're accusing me and accusing the Jews of being heartless, and then you're accusing us of being self-righteous, of being the only ones that would take people in. No, I'll tell you, Gentiles during the Second World War, those that helped the Jews genuinely, good for them. But there was an agenda there. For the children, it was about indoctrinating them and missionize and converting them. That was found out by the Jews, that of the surviving children, the Jews that wanted to save them went and saved them from being forcefully, raised as Christians. And there were cases of child abductions of children that were Jewish children that were savants, that were geniuses. And this is also documented. This is not a slur. Jewish children that were savants from child geniuses, were abducted by the church and raised to be Catholic priests and Catholic scholars. There are documented cases of this.
Okay, you know what? Before you came on, we were showing that we were talking about how Jews don't really have any self-awareness when it comes to how they come off to other people. And so I had can I finish? Can I finish?
Go ahead, finish.
Okay. So the first item that I showed Claire was in a book about Noahidism. When they talked about beheadings, they had a gory image of Gentiles or beheading each other. And I showed it to her and I said, that doesn't show any self-awareness. I mean, that's going to scare people. And then the second one was about this guy who wrote this very, very self-righteous, self-worshiping book about Noahidism. But he also said that a Jew has the right to rip the liver out of a non-Jew to get a transplant if necessary. And what I'm trying to say is that this idea that every Gentile that took in a Jew was either partially Jewish or had an agenda, if Gentiles heard you say that, they would become disgusted and hateful. And this is part of the reason why you're hated.
Fine, I don't care. I don't care how I come off. At this point, it's crucial to deliver the message as it's meant to be, straight and unfiltered, and cold and clinical, for a spiritual understanding of why there were Gentiles during the Second World War that took in Jews. It's meant to be understood that Gentiles that have no empathy or care or concern for the Jews and resented Jews, they would never take them in. It's those that had some feeling for them on the basis of some sort of lineage and connection to Jews. Okay. That applies. Wow. The same applies to Donald Trump. There was a lot of suspicion of his bloodline having been mixed with Jews in Europe and Germany.
Stephen J. James says that you have zero gratitude. I told you that this will make the Gentiles dislike you.
All right, great. The point. Now this is the dilemma. Let me pose this a conundrum here. To people like you and Adam Green and all the other critical ones that are doing all this deep research and analysis, what I'm proposing is not, God forbid, the final solution for the Jews of America, Canada, Europe, a Nazi, a genocide, and complete extinction, or a culling of the Jewish people in order to get them out of your hair. All right, the ones that have assimilated, the ones that become gay, that have become intermarried, the ones that disappear, those are the ones you want to staying with you. All right, the majority of the Jews in the diaspora are still not like this. They're on the way to becoming like this because their arms are being twisted. They're being seduced into this kind of behavior. But now they're becoming more right-wing, more conservative, more, I'd say, xenophobic, not xenophobic, but protective of their identity and their faith. And they don't want to intermarry and they don't want to assimilate. But they still are stubborn as far as holding on to the diaspora communities they live in amongst you. What I am suggesting is not a genocide and a murder and extinct, making them go extinct, like what the Nazis in Europe wanted, like what a lot of the Catholics in Poland wanted, or the Ukrainians that had a chip on their shoulder against the Jews, or the whoever, the Czech, the Croatians, the Slavs that really were brutal towards the Jews. Europe wanted the Jews out of their hair. The Jews didn't pick up on this quickly enough, and they didn't take it seriously enough. And if they did, they would have spared themselves the horrors and the Holocaust. It wouldn't have been as massive if most of the Jews took those threats seriously and understood the minds of the
Okay,
Gentiles.
but they look if okay.
What I'm proposing, what I'm proposing to you is this: as arrogant as I come off sounding, as insensitive as I come off sounding, what I am proposing a solution. I'm putting a solution on the table. I'm saying that the Jews are prophesied to ingather to the land of Israel in the end times, prior and during messianic revelation. And this will be the final solution to the Jewish problem, which should have been implemented by the Europeans. They wanted to implement it, but they changed their minds and took the path of extermination and genocide. The Americans do not have to take the path of extermination, genocide. I know you're very critical of the Jews. I know you want to focus and be you scrutinize them and obsess over everything we say, and put us, up against the wall and corner us and try in debates and all these other arguments. It's pointless. It's Adam Green should be glad that we have arrived at the time that we have arrived in, and also that Albert Bishkek, Bishkuk, or whatever, Bishkek. You won't have the Jews to bother you anymore. It's about the solution is around the corner. All right, you won't have them either as liberals or as homosexuals or as playthings to fuck around with their emotions and fuck around with their beliefs. You won't interact with them anymore. This is God's final solution. And say thank you, Lord, thank God that you're separating the Jews from the Gentiles forever and returning them to their homeland.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope
what do
not.
you need?
But I wanted to say,
what do you need them for? What do you need them for? You're just critical of them. You're just scrutinizing them.
No, I don't want them to be mistreated, because that'll only play into their designs. So first of all, I want to say that it doesn't help Jews. Look, it's not, you shouldn't genocide people because they make statements the way you made, but it doesn't help that type of ignoble behavior on the part of the Jews. I mean, it doesn't help people like you anymore. And I'm sure that it wells up a lot of hatred in people's heart and probably makes their attacks on you more filled with insanity.
Good, bring it on. I'm in my safe place. I'm in my refuge. I'm in my sanctuary. The Jews of the diaspora are vulnerable and exposed. And if I have to stoke the hatred of the Gentiles and the confusion and the madness and insanity of the Gentiles even more, I'll gladly do it. I'll tell them, look, Adam Green, everything he says is 100% correct. The Jews are supremacists. The Jews are self-righteous, ethnocentric supremacists that think they're better than everybody. Choke on it. And I'll say that to Jeff Doherty, and he'll have a big smile on his face because he knows exactly what I'm doing. He wouldn't disagree with me as much as much of an asshole as he is. I like him. He's a good Gentile asshole. If you've ever heard Jeff Doherty speaking, exposing insider Jews and globalist Jews, and even Melanie Mel K was talking today on Flyover Country, a conservative Christian talk show of Midwesterners from Missouri. And she was saying that if Hillary Clinton did manage to steal the election back in 2016, if Trump didn't win the presidency, she would have had, who as the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink. They all burst out into laughter, including Mel K. This was today, and Claire knows damn well who I'm talking about, who Larry Fink is. And what BlackRock is. You should listen to the latest show on.
Can you spell out this guy's name? This Jeff Doherty.
Jeffrey Doherty, Jeffrey. Find him on Twitter. All right, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Doherty. His Irish name Daugherty. Doherty.
Wait, Daugherty. Jeffrey Doherty. Let's see if
he interviewed Joseph Atwell, and his channel got clinked on YouTube. He did excellent interviews with Joseph Atwell, the author of Caesar's Messiah. and he was a preacher. He was an Air Force chaplain, and he became rabidly anti-Christian. He calls himself the Christian whistleblower.
What is he? What religion?
He became he's a searcher. He's going into all sorts of different religions now. He has this talk show from Kansas, from Wichita, I believe it is, or Kansas City in Missouri. Oh no, it's Kansas, in Wichita, or someplace in Kansas. And he despises Christian Zionists. He despises pro-Israel evangelicals. He tries to expose them. He tries to expose American Jews, whether on the left or the right. He's far more effective than Adam Green, if you ask me. I'm at this point. I'm at my wit's end. I'll openly state it. I'm a full supporter of all those white Christian or former Christian critics of the Jews on alternative media. And even the kook in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado near Denver, Brother Nathaniel, the former Jew from New York, former New York Jew that turned into a Russian monk slash preacher, what have you, that speaks out and criticizes the Jews of America as having undermined the cultural fabric of the United States in many ways, deliberately serving the elites. Now, Mel K does the same thing, but she's Jewish, and she's far more subtle about it. She's not as in your face and, as you said, ignoble, not caring about the fact that non-Jews, American Christians, or what, no matter what they are going to perceive this very negatively. In my opinion, at this point, I'm not holding back anything. We are upon messianic revelation. The Jews should have nothing protecting them in America anymore. And they should pick their asses up and leave before it's too late. They're going to start getting shot at soon. That's what my rabbi said. And all the shootings that you have now in America are harbingers for the fact that Jews are going to be targeted again. And watch it happen. When he gives these kinds of warnings, it is deadly serious. And I could show you what he said, and it's deadly serious at this point. All right, so that's what they have to look forward to. They are not, they're stubborn. They want to hold on to what is dead already, what is not going to be revived. They're holding on to nostalgia, to the past, to their, to what they remember, and it's over. It's done with. It's they should sell everything while they can and pick up and leave and do God's will. Otherwise,
people have been saying these types of things forever.
No, but now it's real. The economy is going to collapse.
Well, they always say it's real. The economy is going to be collapsing for 50 years now.
No, that's what you think. It's on the verge now.
No,
you should.
That's what people tell us. The economy's on the verge.
No, but listen. You could dismiss it and make these kinds of fluffy statements, but there's proof of it.
Not only the fluffy statements, the fact that you never get it right.
No, it is right. It's a slow
You're
burn.
like QAnon, where it's just everything is a lie.
No, it's a slow burn, and now it's a fast burn. You just have to pay attention to what's really happening.
This is what QAnon was saying to people.
Not QAnon. Who's QAnon? I'm just telling you there's verification from 1,001 sources of different varieties of people of different types of
all interpretation.
No, it's not interpretation. These people are the experts, and they're not just Jews.
Right. You're very pedantic.
They're not just Jews. I'm not pedantic. It's on Fox News itself. It's not from Peter Schiff only exclusively. It's from others. It's from Italians like Michael Pinto, from Gerald Salente, from the Midwesterner in Missouri, Greg, what's his name? From that show, everybody watches it. Real News with Greg Hunter. USA Watchdogs. There's a Midwestern American Protestant type saying the same things. Paul Craig Roberts, the former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury. You have it coming at you from all directions in Europe. You have it coming at you from so many different vectors of people that have been insiders and know that now is not. You know what happened just this past week, and also several months ago, on and off. There's a harbinger. There's a sign of a clear official recession that is undeniable. It's not just 2 negative quarters, negative growth, which has been verified. So now America's in an official recession. but it's also the yield curve. The 2 and 10 year, when they invert, it's a clear sign of recession. That has happened several times over the past months. It's happened again today, but it's the entire yield curve from the 2 to the 7, the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 7 are all inverted against the 10 year. It's a clear sign that the whole entire bond market is broken. The credit market is broken. Anything and everything can happen now at a moment's just the snap of a finger at a moment, and people are on edge knowing that this thing is not about just fear mongering and fear porn and all these other accusations. Well, we've been hearing this forever, and forever it has been for me as well, since I've been observing this since 2008, 2009, 2010. That's been over a decade. That's been like close to, it's actually been 14 years since the last crash. And that can seem like a forever of these repetitions, of these constant warnings, harping on it, obsessing over it. But 14 years is not even a blink of an eye, is not even a second in God's timing, in God's way of arranging time or events that God puts into motion. All right. For us, it can seem like an eternity, but we are at the end point. We are at the moment of truth now. You should listen to Maneko 64, Mario Eneko, the Brazilian in London, the former bond trader deal, analyst, and Rafi Farber he lives here in the Golan Heights. He's a religious Orthodox Jew. He's an analyst as well. He picked up his entire family and did the right thing, left America, left New York, sold everything and moved to Israel. And he has a nice home in the Golan Heights. But he's a wise person. He's a cunning person. He's a very clever person. He knows how to earn a living. And he's a sharp Jew. But he's also very sharp in analyzing hidden information. And what he has to say is that we are in a similar scenario as to what happened in Weimar, Germany in 1922. All right? It's like it happened in July, and then the inflation hit.
You are the one who said yourself that Jews are becoming more conservative. And like Jews, what if they started becoming more like Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, Ben Shapiro, his heart is in the right place, but his understanding and his full perception and belief is lacking as far as what God Hashem wills of him, and he's a religious Jew, which is rather embarrassing to say that about him. But he's got his personal motivations, and he thinks he could dilly-dally and stay in the United States when the Creator does not want him there. And for his own benefit and for the benefit of the Jews and every Jew that he knows that it affects and influences, he should take this stuff more seriously, because it's not just coming from me. I'm not the lone voice in the darkness, yelling against the wind where they can barely hear me. No. There's tons and tons of Jews, but living in America and in Israel, and religious personalities and rabbis, and a lot of people are saying that now is the time for the Jews to return to Israel. And not just my rabbi. There are many respected rabbis in Israel that are very popular, very well known, recommending that the Jews start returning to Israel now. Now, Ben Shapiro, as a conservative, as an American that wants to salvage, the mess that America has become and make it more, conservative and God-fearing and straight and heterosexual and less perverted. Good for him, but he's fighting a losing battle as a Jew. His purpose is to tell his fellow Jews that time is up, pick up and leave, sell everything, return to Israel. This is God's will. You're fighting against God's will. You're struggling against God. And now you are going to get a wake-up call like you've never gotten before since the Holocaust. God forbid it's not going to be a genocide, not extermination. But what happened in that Pennsylvania temple and what had happened in where was it? In Los Angeles, in the Chabad synagogue, those seemed like rare cases or oddities, and out of the blue. It's just the same as the Georgia Guidestones overnight were, spontaneously blown up and it wasn't anticipated. The harbinger that my rabbi said we should watch for is that the mass shootings and a lot of shootings in the United States are on the rise, and soon they're going to be focused on Jews in order to get them to leave the United States and return to Israel.
All I have to do. Look, I have I know I've spoken to people, and it is exceedingly obvious that if the Jews were asking the Gentiles to live under the Noahide laws, a lot of anti-Semitism, including, white nationalists and this kind of stuff, will disappear. So this is my plan, is to discuss it to the point that every liberal Jew has to take a stance in front of everyone. And they're not going to say, well, these are bad, or I don't believe this, or the government shouldn't have passed this. They're going to say, well, they're not that bad. It's nothing to worry about. I'm going to make every Jew an agent of the Noahide laws so as to completely, mitigate the hatred against them, and to hopefully, over a rapid period of time, convert the Christians to Noahidism so as to give them great protection.
Why do you want to keep the Jews amongst you? Why do you feel like you need the Jews living amongst you? That's the bottom line question.
Because the Noahide agenda is more obvious. I want to fight the Noahide agenda rather than Christianity and Islam.
That's kind of convoluted. That's the reason why you want to keep the Jews around? That's rather messed up. That's rather kind of like,
no, well, I'm trying to foil your prophecies and your plans and make it work for me.
Trying to chase the tail, your own tail. It's like the snake.
It's foiling everything. It doesn't go your way.
Oh, that you're trying to foil the end times prophecies. That's what you're trying to do?
Yes.
Through this convoluted, the snake eating his own tail?
It's not convoluted, and it's not a snake eating his own tail. It's just spreading an ideology. That's it.
You're openly against the Noahide laws, but then you're supporting the Jews being in favor of the Noahide laws.
Yeah, so that people see through them.
So people see through them, so that you'll fight the Noahide laws instead of Christianity, and that's what you need the Jews in amongst you, living in the exile, in the diaspora. I mean, do you think that God is going to help you in any way, shape, or form with this? I'm sorry, it's a retarded thought process. Basically spinning things around in such ways as to try to defeat God's purpose and God's will and the prophecies of the end times of the Jews in gathering to the land of Israel. You're going to have zero success in mitigating hatred of the Jews by getting them to support Noahidism when it's anti-gay, when half of the Jews of America are fucking gay, or they're fucking pro-gay. And good luck with that. Good luck. I mean, it's only going to be by way of the hard way.
Jew, 99% of Jews that I have met do not say, well, the Noahide laws are no good, or I understand what you're seeing here. They all take either an apologetic or a defensive stance. And as this agenda increases and the movement against it increases, they're just going to have to become closer and closer and closer to being supporters of it.
The main issue with the Noahide laws is that they're openly anti-gay. Is that it?
And anti-idolatry and anti-blasphemy.
But the anti-gay is what gets you the most. That you want to.
No, I'm an idolatrous, blasphemous homosexual. I'm all three.
All right. So the thing about what you're trying to do is really, amateurish and convoluted. You're trying to. It's dishonest as well. Even if you're openly stating and claiming that's what your agenda is. It's just, why don't you just be honest and say you don't like the Jews supporting Noahide laws because it's anti-gay, it's anti-blasphemy, and it's what was it again?
Idolatry.
Anti-idolatry. All right, so just be honest. That's what your real agenda is.
I am being honest. I am being very honest.
So why do you want to help the Jews? I mean, that's not helping them.
It's not helping the Jews. It's fucking them up.
Oh, you want to fuck them up. Okay. Well, you can fuck them up more if you support my agenda of
having that won't. They'll go to Israel and your prophecies will come true.
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with that?
I don't want that to happen. I don't want people who are anti-idolatry, anti-blasphemy, anti-homosexuality having power over the earth.
Oh, so you think that All right. Well, you're one of these people that really thinks that just like the Nimrod and the generation of that time that built the Tower of Babel. Those stories that you don't like hearing so much. Trying to undermine these things in a way that's rather ineffective. Even by stating that that's your goal, most Jews will say, "Well, that's ridiculous. You sound rather childish and amateurish in what you're looking forward to." What
Well, no,
you're
it's very easy. All you have to do is talk to the Gentiles about it, and then they're going to go to the Jews, and they're going to want answers, and that's all I have to do.
Well, what you have now is the Gentiles are very confused. You got Adam Green spinning his wheels, and you got people like Red Ice also spinning their wheels. That couple, and what they finally, just like Alex Jones used to spin his wheels, and he kind of like came around. The thing is that the Gentiles and Christians are very suspicious of the Noahide laws. You have Greg Reese, a very good filmmaker and a very good video editor and sort of like a video artist working for Alex Jones, who made a lot of videos about the Noahide laws in a very critical light and very suspicious of them.
It's the minority who are upset about them. I've been doing this for 10 years, and most people, I would say 25% of people, become outraged or unhappy or just they think it's bad. But another 25%, don't have any opinion, on it. And then 50% are going to be like defensive or supportive or like that. So
the state of Florida is very heavily in support of Noahide laws.
How do you know that?
I've researched it and looked into it. The Panhandle of Florida, where you have the Air Force Base near in Dustin, Florida, and all these places where you have a lot of military bases in Florida. They're Christians that are leaning towards Noahidism and actually implementing it into law, making it official law in Florida. Florida is the strongest state leaning in the direction of making Noahidism the state law.
Can you send me information on that?
Look it up. I read it recently. Yeah.
Oh. Well.
And listen to Jeffrey Doherty. You can get a lot of inspiration out of Jeffrey Doherty, although he spews a lot of garbage and a lot of crazy talk. He's one of these former Christians now that have totally rejected Jesus, because he finally 100% sort of grappled with it enough. And he was a preacher, and he was a minister, a chaplain, and he conducted all sorts of like hokey, healings of the blind. He did this. He said he put spittle in the eyes of a blind person, and he recovered his sight, just like Jesus. And now he's totally rejected Jesus for having understood where the origins of Jesus comes from.
Okay, so did reading Torah and Jewish literature have anything to do with him rejecting Jesus?
No, it had the most to do with interviewing Joseph Atwell and having very articulate discussions and back and forth answers and question answer sessions for hours with Joseph Atwell. And they did such good shows, and I should have downloaded them. And I was stupid, and now they clinked all his channel. All those interviews have been wiped out and censored and destroyed. Some of Joe Atwell's best, free flow of information, stream of consciousness, he got out during Jeffrey Doherty's interviews, but he did them with others as well. So it's been, you could say it's been archived. You could say it's been documented and kept, relevant. But the way he affected Jeffrey Doherty, and Jeffrey Doherty was on a lot of talk shows in Australia and in New Zealand and around the world. He calls himself the Christian whistleblower. He was more critical of Paul as being the inventor of Christianity, or the inventor of what's called Paulianity or whatever, and because Jesus was a device that was meant to lure and seduce Jews into becoming pro-Roman and pro idolatry and pro pagan, and it came after the writings of Paul, and it all has to do with their interests. It all has to do with their conniving, and it has everything to do with their maneuvering, and what the intellectuals and the engineers of their day, the propagandists of their day, were all doing at that time to address the Jews. Messianic prophecies, much like what you're doing, but you're very amateurish compared to the Romans, nowhere near as sophisticated as they are with what they did, writing Jesus into history and creating the Gospels and writing the Gospels as a response to the Hebrew Bible. It had staying power for 2,000 years, and now it's dying, and Noahidism is taking its place, and the Jews don't have to be there to be exposed by you in some sideways, nefarious, convoluted sort of like agenda you have that you're openly stating as your agenda. It's like, why don't you invent a new Jesus and try to push that guy?
I'm not going to reinvent the wheel.
All right, well, invent some new Hydra, a pagan god, and call him the Messiah of the Jews.
I want them going to. I want the Jews to. I want to stop people from hating the Jews by making the Jews more and more and more conservative. And yeah, and all you have to do by that is get them asking the Jews about the Noahide laws.
Well, I don't think it's that for them. It's too simple an approach, because they're so for the most part, in disagreement amongst themselves over also very little things, very minor things, and forgettable. The Jews like to squabble and disagree over everything and anything. It's just like Larry David. Those people are real. That even though he plays characters, those kind of behaviors or attributes is accurate. It's like it's true. It's like when you talk about the Jews, even Rabbi Singer said this. It's like herding cats. Even if they agree, even if they agree, they don't agree. All right, a Jew always wants to have his way, especially the arrogant, uptight, very proud, very self-righteous, full of himself type Jews. Even if you're going to say I'm in agreement with you, he's going to say, well, not necessarily. I don't agree with you on this and that and that. And it's not necessarily the way you think, and I don't see it exactly the same way you do. It's the same way as seeing the attempt to herd cats is the correct way of approaching the Jews. You're not going to get.
I'm not herding cats. I'm just trying to get. I'm just forcing a statement out of their mouth. That's it.
No, you're never going to get them to agree on anything.
Look, most Jews that I have talked to are at the very least apologists or neutral on the Noahide laws. I've met 2 Jews in my whole life who said, yeah, these really aren't a good idea. 2.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to make it look like they have a collective interest.
Well, how is that going to make Jew haters like them more?
Because
when a majority of
they don't look. I am one of the. I hate. Well, I don't hate Jews, or I dislike Jews. I dislike Jews because of this issue.
Okay.
I think Jews do other things that are problematic, but I don't hate them or I don't dislike them because they're liberals. Most people dislike Jews because they associate them with socialism, communism, liberalism, homosexuality, these different kinds of things. I'm trying to get that out of their brain.
Right, but Christian conservatives hate the Noahide laws. They see it as competition. The Noahide laws are anti-Christian. They're anti-idolatry. And that's why you have people in Alex Jones' team, like Greg Reese, being critical of the Noahide laws. Even though I like Greg Reese, the former Marine, he's a very sharp analyst, very committed, very intelligent, and they see Noahidism as being another attack on Christianity. So even if you have Jewish conservatives being in support of the Noahide laws, most American Christians see it as an attack on Christianity. and it's because it's anti-idolatry and anti-blasphemy, and that's why they'll hate on the Jews if the Jews openly support Noahidism. Like right now, there's a sort of like a quiet, unspoken agreement between right-wing conservative Jews and right-wing conservative Christians, whereby the Christians can talk about Jesus as much as they like. Jesus, we believe in Jesus Christ, and the flyover country couple, David and Stacy Whited, are talking to the Jewish Melanie Kay, and she's quiet, she's silent, and they're talking about, we love Jesus, we believe in Jesus, and we believe in the Lord Jesus, and she's quiet, she's silent, she's smiling, she's not giving a nod, she's not in agreement, she's just like, okay, that's the freedom of religion in America, and we have some things in common, we have some things that are not in common, and it goes unspoken. It's an unspoken agreement. They don't get into it. They don't, even though some challenged Ben Shapiro in that North Carolina, that University of North Carolina, what do you call that fucking university where they developed the fucking virus there with the military-industrial complex people at Chatham Hill. North Carolina University, whatever it's called. And so they confronted him there, the college kids, and they said, what do you think about the Gospels? And what do you think about Jesus? And why don't you believe in Jesus? And why don't you believe in Gospels? And if you're a right-wing Jew conservative, you should help us and believe in Jesus. And he says
they said this to Ben Shapiro?
Yeah. You want me to find it for you?
No, I trust you, but
Ben Shapiro answered he answered them very in a terse response. Well, the Gospels authors and authorship are unverified, and he basically just put them in their place and said, "I do not trust the authorship and the reliability and authority of the Gospels and whoever wrote it." Basically implying that it was written by insidious people, bent on reshaping Judaism by means of force, by means of deception, by means of ancient propaganda. And we know who the true authors are. The Greco-Romans of the ancient Roman Empire, together with the Hellenistic Jews that were in cahoots with them, that were coordinating with them in order to do what you're trying to do, water down Judaism or create some sort of trick, some instrument, some vehicle, some sort of, instrument to pacify the Jews, pacify Judaism, turn the Messiah into a pro-Roman pacifist, and convolute everything, and all that is unraveling now. And David and Stacy may have heard me calling poor Americans that were born Christian and are committed to Christianity, schmucks, and sort of dupes. And the fact that a lot of Midwesterners or Middle Americans, what have you, and poor Americans got suckered into volunteering in themselves and their lives into the military and having their asses shot off and crippled, and and then they get smoke blown up their asses for all the illegal wars. Thank you for your service. And in the meantime, they're going to suffer the rest of their lives with horrible disfigurements and injuries and PTSD. And for what? Finally, they learned the truth about what the fucking deep state is about, what the fucking globalists are about, what the fucking fake president is about, and they get really upset. And so they'll research more deeply, and they'll look into Christianity, and they'll know that they've been deceived for 2,000 years. And I'm sorry, David and Stacy, if you think I'm calling you schmucks. I like you. You're nice people, but honestly, I like the Midwesterners, the politeness, the Americana. It's all good and fine. But I'm never going to give in to Jesus.
Okay. This is what I'm saying. On one hand, you're saying that many Christians are having problems with Jesus, which is true. And then on the other hand, you're trying to say that the Noahide laws won't be attractive to them.
It won't, because they cannot, at this stage, a majority of them, they're having a sort of like an inner conflict. They cannot come to terms with it. They cannot make peace with it. They're wrestling with it, and on a massive scale, they're still showing resistance. Even Alex Jones, he finds something worthy and worthwhile, and Greg Reese as well, and the whited couple. They find something noble and virtuous in remaining Christian, and in continuing to believe in Jesus, because they find also their refuge there. They find their salvation there, whether they believe in the Jesus after hearing the Caesar's Messiah thesis and all of the skeptics research about Jesus. They'll revert back to the Doobie Brothers song, from the 70s. You know the song? Jesus is just all right with me. Jesus is just all right. Oh, yeah. I don't care what they may say. And I don't care what they may do. Jesus is just all right. Oh, yeah. And good for them. But it's retarded. I mean, how can I take them seriously? How can the Jews that realize what the truth is about Jesus take them seriously? We kind of feel bad for them. We kind of look at them as like, you poor fucking American schmucks, poor American middle Americans, Midwestern schmucks that you want to be virtuous and hold on to Jesus, but in the meantime, the whole thing has been blown sky high, and you can't make your peace with it. You're still too proud. You can't find an alternative to Jesus and still be good Americans and still be virtuous and ethical and moral and decent and good-hearted and altruistic and everything the Christians want to, are proud of as Christians. It's like, why do you have to insist on holding on to this idol? Why, when he's been blown sky high to smithereens, and you just want to continue holding on to this lie? Oh, Jesus had to have existed according to the Gospels, and the Jesus Gospels is the guy that existed. We can't let go of this, we can't let go of our drug. We can't let go of this crutch. And according to the New Testament, it's allowed, to have this a compromise with idolatry. And Jesus is not idolatry. When it's just like a child lying to himself and telling himself that Santa Claus is real. All right? For fuck's sake, Santa Claus is 100% equivalent to Jesus. Jesus is the oldest Santa Claus versus the Santa Claus of the Germany that came out of Germany in the Dark Ages. All right, Saint Nicholas or whatever. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous that you can't find a way to work around this idol, and you have to insist on holding on to Jesus because your Bible tells you so, because Revelations, and the Jews would come to you in the end times and they tried to seduce you into not believing in Jesus. And
that's what's going to happen.
And it's a clear sign that Jesus is real and that Jesus is the real Messiah. Well, you're fucking dupes. You don't know who wrote those fucking books 2,000 years ago. You don't know the same kind of state actors that are fucking your minds up today. They found their fucking inspiration in what they wrote 2,000 years ago. That's that's the seed. That's the core, the seed of fucking with people's minds by way of creating this false god and all the whole structure built around him. And it's about worshiping the state ultimately, subservience to the state. And they figured this. Jay Dyer figured this out. And now he's bending a little bit. He's compromising. He's still not going to give up on the Jesus, God forbid. But he's realizing that manipulation of the masses, it comes from the top down, from the oligarchs, from the moneyed powers, from the power brokers that have power over the military, over the banks, over the money, over the definition of money and currency. And these are the motherfuckers that invented Jesus 2,000 years ago. And I'm sorry if I'm ignoble and it sounds so, insulting to the Christians. It's not insulting to Adam Green. I'll give him credit, and also his Egyptian former Coptic Christian friend. But they still resent the Jews, just the same as Jeffrey Doherty. He was a preacher, a Christian preacher. They made their peace. They realized that they've been duped for 2,000 centuries. They and their ancestors, all those generations going back. It's a real bitter pill to swallow. They've made their peace with the fact that Jesus was made up and fake. The Gospel's Jesus is an invention. He's propaganda. But what Adam Green is dead set and bent on doing, and this is God's will, is refocusing all of the hatred, all of the anger, all of the resentment, all of the blame on the Jews. And the Jews, are the ones that employed and enjoyed this controlled opposition by way of Christianity has also convoluted ways of thinking. And go ahead, do your best, Adam. At this point, create as much confusion as you like, just as long as you made your peace with the fact that you're fully, totally convinced that the Jesus of the Gospels is fake. He's invented. All right, he's a tool, an instrument of state propaganda.
Okay,
he's a military psychological operation. That's the hardest things for those are the most difficult pills for the Christians of today to swallow. And I know they want to take, they want to retreat into their goodness. Oh, we're good, wholesome Christians, and this is where we retreat to, where we don't want to confront the honest to God's truth. That it wasn't even the Jews that exposed Jesus for the fraud that he is in the Gospels. It's mostly Gentiles. And that end times prophecy was fulfilled to the maximum. And it's been over 20 years or more. And I'd say it's even been closer to, since Bruno Bauer openly made these statements, but I'd say 150 years since the late 19th century. The stuff has been hashed out.
Well, I can tell you that sometimes you say the Noahide laws are spreading, sometimes you say they're not, but Noahidism generally instills a great hatred for Christianity, and Christians believe that the new world religion that will persecute them it'll be an anti-Christian.
Right, that's why they're suspicious of Noahidism. It's fully understood. I can relate. I can understand that to the fullest. But I don't see Noahides being militant jihadis, on the warpath, bent
not now, but eventually,
bent on forcing at the edge of a sword the Christians to.
But wait until there's kind of mass conversions
to renounce Jesus. All right,
it'll happen in numbers.
I doubt it's not going to be a violent movement. What is
not at first?
I doubt it. You're paranoid about the Noahides. It will not turn violent because the Noahides are also compelled to observe so many other laws that will restrain them and restrict them from being violent.
No, there are definitely actions which will get you punished. There are definitely actions which will get you punished.
All right, but the point where we are going, the direction we're going, the end point will be not even coercive or threats or intimidations or fear of punishment. What I believe is that when we arrive soon at what is going to be full messianic revelation, it will be so obvious to the Christians that they themselves will destroy their idols. That is what is prophesied. This includes the Hindus. This includes the Buddhists. This is a universal knowledge of the one creator, where all the pagans, all the idolaters themselves will feel so ashamed and will never, ever bow down to a statue of wood or stone or whatever, any material, ever again. And they will be physically destroying those idols themselves. You won't have to have crazy jihadis on horseback with their scimitars yelling Allahu Akbar and behead the idolaters and the heathens. And the Muslims romanticize that. There's a lot of romance in that with the Kurd Salahuddin and the Crusades and the jihad, the jihads and the Crusades and the romantic episodes of Islamic history fighting the Crusaders, And I can relate to that. As I give the Muslims credit for doing away with a lot of idolatry by force, and it's very harsh, and they were very vicious and they were very cruel in doing it. In India, they did some of the most barbaric things to try to compel the Hindus to give up on idolatry, and it's like really inhumane and barbaric things, which I don't support. But as far as there being, doing what they did throughout history in the Dark Ages, in the medieval times, before the Renaissance, and during in those times when there was a lot, face-to-face combat and war was far more, bloody and brutal. they fulfilled their obligation for why they came about into history. Now, when we reach the Messianic age and full Messianic revelation and God's hand functioning out in the open and God ruling the world, you won't have to fight against the Noahide agenda. The Christians and the Hindus and the Buddhists and the animists and whatever else there is out there that is idolatrous will be a self-policing. They'll police themselves. They'll be so ashamed. They'll be so ashamed of having worshipped a false god, an idol, worshiping a man on a cross, carved out in stone or wood. The Pietà. I saw the Pietà in the Vatican as I walked into the Vatican. I saw all of their statues, Michelangelo and the Sistine Chapel and all of it. Nowadays, it's nowhere near as impressive as the shit you find on the internet, or the shit you find as far as the information you're looking for that's juicy. I think what's great a greater work of art than Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel or the Pietà or any of their ivory or stone marble statues. Joseph Atwell's mind, or James Valiant's mind, or Jacob Berman's mind, or Bruno Bauer's mind. Those are the ultimate pieces of art that surpass the Pietà, surpass the Vatican, surpass Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, when they can see right through that crap and get at the heart of the truth and destroy 2,000 years worth of lies with their academic work and their research. I see them as being superior to any Christian work of art that's the most beautiful Renaissance painting or Renaissance statue that can inspire, or King David with his big dick out for all the girls to ogle in Florence, in the Medici castle. I took who did I take there with me? Who was there with me? It was one of the girls I was with. Yeah, and they're all ogling, a figure from the Hebrew Bible that's supposed to be a righteous figure. They turn them into a Greco-Roman idol, and they're all gawking at his dick and his balls. And the gays are obviously wanting to suck on that thing. When they buy pictures of it, they relish the pictures of the statue and with his cock out, and that's Renaissance Christian art. Oh, that's so glorious, eroticizing King David and making everybody want to suck his dick. Fucking ridiculous, fucking sick in the head, fucking retarded. Renaissance Schmenaissance, that's going to be done away with too. That has to be done away with. All that debauchery and decadence, turning a religious holy figure from the Hebrew Bible into a Greco-Roman god, and having women get erotically turned on by it. It's fucking sick.
Well, okay, Christians have their prophecies too. I know you're going to poo-poo that, but Noahitism fits perfectly into Christian prophecy. But look, the Gentiles are supposed to be practicing the Noahide laws before the Messianic era.
There are no terms and conditions. Everything I told you is fluid. The authority that I'm listening to on this earth that has the most credible and reliable information is my rabbi, exposing the exact details of where we have arrived, where we are, and where we're headed. And nothing that is written in stone can be understood black and white at this point. It's all very, just like the prophecies are, they need interpretation. They're very abstract. And that's why you find people like Rabbi Singer counteracting the false interpretations of Christianity that had their Greco-Roman bent and Greco-Roman interests. So there are no clear guidelines for absolutes as far as the arrival of Mashiach. What my rabbi said is that it is not necessary for all of the Jews of the world, the exiles, to be in Israel at the time for the Messiah to be revealed. there has to be a certain percentage of all the tribes of Israel, and they've been ingathered. A lot of them came from the Far East, from Burma, from North India, from parts of Pakistan, from China. A lot of the lost tribes from Afghanistan, all where they got dispersed in Central Asia and South Asia. And so the thing about it is, the guidelines are not black and white. They're fluid. All right. A lot of pieces have already fallen into place. The establishment of the State of Israel, the passage of 70 years with the exile of the Erev Rav. There is a consensus amongst most religious Jews and rabbis that the terms have been met, the requirements have been met. A year of this kind of government that we call a malicious government came and went. That's a major part of the process. The big part of the puzzle fell into place in that occurrence, having played itself out, and so many other things. It's just an endless list of prophecies that have been fulfilled. If you want to find an English captioned a lecture from a rabbi that gave a lecture like this over 10 years ago. You can find it online. His name is from a Hidabrut, Hidabrot. His name is what's his name? He gave a long hour and a half, 2 hour long lecture about the end times, messianic prophecies fulfilled. It was in Hebrew. He gave it to a Hebrew audience, and it's been translated into English and other languages. I'll find it for you. You know what? Go ahead and have your say. I'm going to find it. This is worthwhile to respond to your claim that the Noahide laws have to be practiced first before the Messiah.
Not have to be, but they will be being practiced prior to the Messianic era.
Well, they are.
It's not okay. I don't know if it's a mandatory thing, but the prophecy is that they will be practicing it.
Well, there's a good number of people around the world that are practicing Noahide laws.
Not enough. That doesn't.
They don't call themselves Christians anymore.
Well, I know, but 500,000 people is not what I'm talking about.
In Hebrew we say komets. There has to be what is written is that there will be a certain small group. Let's see what the proper translation of this word. Komets, handful. Yeah. Komets means komets, hofen, malo, hofen. Okay. Yeah, a handful. And the same applies to the number of people that Hashem, the God, the Creator, the Holy Name.
Who will be a handful?
The righteous Gentiles, the Noachites, but also in regards to this word komets, my rabbi used this word recently to describe the fact that the Creator is only waiting for a handful of Jews now, very minute, small amount of Jews. He's giving them the final moments, the last stretch by the skin of their teeth to a handful of Jews to enter this process, believe in this process, to be in the first wave of redemption and not miss out. So God is waiting for a very small amount, a handful of Jews. He's waiting for them, and the waiting is going to end soon. He's not waiting for the masses of diaspora Jews or Jews in Israel that are not in line with believing that now is the time for messianic revelation and redemption. There are many here. A large portion of the Israeli public is secretly, quietly believing, and they're not openly talking about it. Some are bold enough to talk about it with their friends, family, co-workers. This is spreading like wildfire as far as the signs that we are seeing that are blatant. But as far as waiting for the ones that are stubborn or critical or mock it, or the ones that are disbelievers, or the ones that are willfully ignorant or willfully denying this, God is not waiting for them. He's waiting for a very small, minute handful of people before he triggers the revelation of the Messiah. And so the rabbi Zamir Cohen, Here, Mark, write this down, Vincent Bruno.
Hmm.
Write down the name of this rabbi, Zamir Cohen. Z
How do
A
you
M.
what?
His first name is Zamir. First name, okay. Second name, Cohen. You know how to spell Cohen, right?
Cohen?
Yes, that's his name. Look him up. His organization is called Hidabrut. He gave a very famous lecture about the end times and the war of Gog and Magog. I want to even send it to Claire. Claire, are you still there, Claire? She's gone. She's taking a break.
He's a what? Producer of the first Jewish television channel in Israel?
Yeah,
The,
Hidabrut.
so this guy was born in 1965. So what? There was no Jewish channel in Israel until like the 80s or 90s?
Pretty much, yeah. Israel's very secular. It was very anti-Jewish. I'll find you the lecture. Yeah, Israel was very pro-European, pro-secularism, pro-leftism. Israel was founded on socialism and communism, for the most part. So they were very rabidly anti-religious. I found the a lecture here. It's a very popular, famous lecture, and it's subtitled in English with very clear yellow, bold, big English letters. And you should study that, Vincent, and you should send that to Adam Green and his sidekick. All right, if you're in contact with Adam Green,
His
send it.
psychic? He has a psychic?
Yeah, his name is Albert Bishkek. He's Egyptian.
And he reads tarot cards or something?
No, they do something in the lines of, I don't think like what you do, but they mock the Jews. They mock the Jews' beliefs. They mock the haughtiness, just the same as you said, the distasteful comments that come out of Mizrahi's mouth, or Rabbi Dror's mouth, or all of them. The ones he's had on. He's had on Duvid. He's had on a lot of Jews that were defenders of the Jewish position. And in every case, Adam Green has to spin his wheels and decide that the Jews are the ones with the nefarious plots to take advantage and exploit the Gentiles and have them do all of their dirty work for them via Christianity, overlooking the fact that Christianity persecuted the Jews and murdered the Jews in the hundreds of thousands and millions. Okay, he just totally ignores that, and he focuses on the fact that modern Christianity, American Christianity, is very pro-Jewish and pro-Israel, with the hidden agenda and hidden desire to want to convert the Jews. That being not so hidden anymore, still they're willing to commit 100% to helping the Jews and helping Israel. It's very noble of them, but they don't realize. Now they realize it's like you go too far, you push us too far, and even if we'll accept you as our friends, we'll admire you and everything, but we will not let you convert us, and we will not let you convert our children. We will not let you missionize us. By you doing that, you will activate people like Rabbi Singer and people like myself. That I'm a bit of I'm less diplomatic. I don't care about insulting the Christians, and neither does Rabbi Singer anymore. I don't think he's giving it out. He's putting it out there, very boldly, very plainly, and so he got one of those missionaries in Texas from Texas, not by way of Rabbi Singer, but by way of her own investigations. Shannon Newson, that converted to Judaism, lives in Jerusalem, was a former missionary, and now is working against missionaries by exposing their tactics, exposing their methods, and revealing to the Jews how to look out for missionaries and to get rid of them, not have them interfere in their communities. What I would want Rabbi Singer to do, and all the other anti-missionary activists in Israel and abroad to do, is to fully digest. It's hard for them, just as hard as it is for Christians to give up Jesus. It's very hard for diaspora Jews to give up on the exile and give up on diaspora. It's like a crutch. It's a real crutch. Just why Jews have a hard time understanding Christians that don't want to give up Jesus kind of it escapes me, because they themselves have a hard time giving up the diaspora and giving up on their exile existence when they know God is calling them back. And it's not some religious Zionist agenda where Mr. Samuel sitting in Haifa, Drol here from his bedroom, is plotting this grand scheme to bring all of the Jews back to Israel by way of his biting criticisms. Oh, wow, look at this guy. Oh, yeah, they're retarded if they think I have a plethora not a plethora. If I have just like an inkling, not a plethora, the opposite of a plethora. If I have an inkling of, say, an influence that can push the Jews out of the exile, I'm just giving them a clear explanation, a clear description. I'm passing along the message, and who the power, the real hand, the real, decider is the Creator, the one that they're supposed to believe in, the holy name. That's who's compelling them. I'm just a willing volunteer, a willing, interpreter, translator that passes the message along. I believe in God. I believe in the hand of God. I believe in God's will and prophecies fulfilled. They will not have any say in the matter. They don't want to give up on the exile. They don't want to give up on their lives in the diaspora. The same way that the Christians don't want to give up on Jesus. They're very stubborn about these things. But God's agenda is not your agenda. God's plans.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right, God's plans are not your plans. And even though I'm not I'm not the most righteous person. I indulged a lot of things about myself too. I divulged a lot of things about myself to Claire, and so be it. Rabbi Kadira even said that it wouldn't be the religious Jews. It wouldn't be the most heavily committed religious, observant Jews, the Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, from whatever, that would be in full awareness and comprehension of God's, process. It takes a lot to convince the ultra-Orthodox because they're so, isolated. They're so insular. They don't see the signs all around them. They have to be told these things. It's hard for them to understand and to finally come around and make sense and commit. But when they do, they do it in a shy way. They do it in a not so confident way. Why? Because they don't want to get people's hopes up. Why? Because they don't want to make promises that they won't be able to meet, but that they know that are being met by the hand of God slowly. This is no longer a slow burn. This is a fast burn. And the time has run out. Years upon years of exerting ourselves, of my rabbi exerting himself, nonstop warnings, nonstop, alerts, making people aware, giving them heads up, and also all the alternative media, giving the world a heads up, look out, watch out, and all this talk. It will bear fruit, and it's bearing fruit now because you can no longer dismiss it. You can no longer deny it or ignore it. You'll have to live through it. And all the warnings about what will come will have not been for, in vain, will not have been in vain, and not been for nothing. We those that made the effort to put the word out there, to put they will be rewarded for it. And so I'm very calm. I'm very, I'm still, I could say honestly that I haven't lost patience completely. I went through my episodes of being, frustrated and impatient and losing patience and just being aggravated at the whole thing. But it's God's will. God, every form of delay is God's will to give the people that He wants to be in the circle, to be in the first wave, to be a part of the redemption and a part of Messianic revelation, as far as benefiting from it. Like what I said, a handful. He's waiting just for a handful more. He's not waiting for the masses. He's lost patience with the masses. He's waiting for just a comets, a handful more, and it's already in play. So I'm not that worried. I'm not worried at all. There's nothing that can be done to fight this. I mean, it's a futile effort that you're making, Vincent, and even Adam Green, it's very futile. What they should be happy about is the same thing that Mr. Brother Nathaniel is happy about with his crazy eyes, saying, recommending that the Jews all return to Israel if you want to, with his, crazy, eyes. If you believe in your prophets and your prophecies, have them be fulfilled and return to Israel. It's like a typical American Jew mocking Israel and life here for the Jews, being very dismissive of it or looking down upon it and saying, oh, it's like my rabbi said, it's more dishonorable to live in the diaspora than it is to live here. It's honorable to live here as a Jew. It's far more honorable than living anywhere outside of Israel amongst the Gentile nations. And that's what they don't want to get through their heads. The same, what the diaspora Jews and Christians around the world have a lot in common. They are the Nile is not a river in Egypt. Denial is not a river in Egypt. The Nile is, but the same as the Christians cannot surrender the Jesus. The Jews cannot surrender the diaspora. They will be forced and will be made to surrender on the diaspora, but when death will be in hot pursuit of them. These are the warnings, okay? And I will post this video to my Facebook just to get this message out. And, I'll end it there. Vincent, just let me know, is this your channel?
No, this
It's
is
my
Claire.
channel.
Okay,
So
Claire.
I can share it on your timeline.
Yeah, you can post it to, you know what, Claire, can you do me a favor? Post it to my wall, but timestamp my entrance into the discussion, okay? If you can.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
I highly appreciate it.
I'm gonna go, Claire.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.